Hey everybody, Professor Doom here, and before we begin, I just want to be clear for any new individual or new arrivals that may be tuning into this video because of the title of the video and you're not a subscriber. I encourage you to check out this video right here because it explains to you everything about iPet Goat 2 and Deagle.com, which we're going to be talking about right now. And I don't want to rehash all of that information for my subscribers who already know about all of this information that I've presented ad nauseum. But there is some very interesting information about Deagle.com that I wanted to share with everybody to possibly prove to everybody that everything that we're seeing is absolutely scripted. And one of the things that I presented as evidence in this video right here, iPet Goat 2, how did they know this, was the fact that the Ukraine-Russia conflict was presented in iPet Goat 2, and iPet Goat 2 came out in 2012. But you know what's interesting about Deagle.com is that they have been projecting depopulation numbers for certain countries as far back as 2014, even probably before that. But we're going to be taking a look at the 2017 population numbers for the year 2017 and their futuristic population projection for the year 2025. And for everybody who doesn't know it, Deagle.com has the largest depopulation number, and it is for the United States. 326 million in 2017. And that number is reduced down to where there is only 99 million people remaining in the United States. Check out this video right here. It will explain to you everything about what Deagle.com is and what iPet Goat 2 is and why I believe it was created. And let's take a look and let's talk about scripts, everybody. Let's talk about, is everything scripted? So, if iPet Goat 2 truly did indeed present the conflict between Ukraine and Russia in 2012, is there evidence in Deagle.com telling us that they knew that there was going to be a war with Ukraine? Let's take a look at Deagle.com projection numbers for Ukraine. Here is right here. This is the countries listed for the year 2017. And you look, United States at that time, they say had 326 million people. And what we're going to do is we're going to stop this and I'm going to type in the find page for Ukraine, say number 47, Ukraine. And in 2017, the numbers that they had for their population at that time was 44 million people. What we're going to do is we're going to look at one more country here. We're going to be taking a look at North Korea. Number 112 on our screen, and you will see that North Korea in 2017, according to Deagle.com, they had 25 million people in the country. Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to go to their futuristic forecast here, and let's switch to 2025. And just so you know, there is a disclaimer below. I'll leave you guys links in the description box. There is a disclaimer below that where they speak about their projected numbers. And I won't get into why they provided that disclaimer. Watch my other video. It explains everything about that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the United States. And don't get this confused, everybody. The population number is going to be at 99 million. It's not going down by 99 million. We are going to be reduced down to 99 million. So that means we're going from 326, and all you have to do is figure out what that number is from 326, and you'll see how many souls we're going to lose, according to Deagle.com. Now, let's type in here for Ukraine. You see, according to their projected numbers, by 2025, they are going to lose 13 million people. Does that fit in line with the conflict between Russia and Ukraine? Well, I explained in one of my other videos that I uploaded here to Professor Doom 2 about the 10 regions, the 10 kingdoms, what all has to happen for the powers that be to have their visions realized for the structure of the world for the future. And that vision, or the agenda that they had for these 10 regions, was going to require Russia to invade Ukraine, to make it part of Russia, so that the vision of the 10 regions could be realized. And this is mainly a United Nations agenda, if you want to call them the powers that be. I do believe that there is a force even higher that's pulling the strings of all of this. And of course, so Ukraine here losing 13 million people fits right in line for the conflict that we're seeing going on right now and is still going on. As you can see, Deagle.com had these projections of 2025 broadcasted on their website in 2017, before a conflict even broke out between Russia and Ukraine. Just like IPEC Goat 2 presented the conflict between Russia and Ukraine in 2012, well before a conflict even broke out. But you want to know something else that's really amazing? As I showed you, North Korea has 25 million souls in their population of 2017. Well, let's type in North Korea for the 2025 population projection, and let's see what we get. The only thing that comes up, as you can see, is a big nothing. The only thing listed now is North Macedonia. So here's what's interesting about this, is that I made a video about Deagle.com several years ago. And I pointed out the fact, if my longtime followers, if you remember some of the Deagle.com videos that I did 6-7 years ago, somewhere around there, maybe 7 years ago, I pointed out the fact that North Korea does not have any population whatsoever, according to Deagle.com. How is it that you can have a number, 25 million, that you presented in 2017 as their current population at that time, but yet you don't have any projected numbers for them for the year 2025 like you do every other country? If this is the case, what are the possibilities of why there's no projected numbers? And I want you to think about this. Okay, let's take a look at the possibilities. Before we do that, this is what I want to ask everybody. If you just saw the projected numbers for the United States at losing a rough over 200, well, is it 200 million people? 200, 300, oh yeah, it's well over 200 million people it's going to lose. What are the possibilities for that? Well, We can rule out. This is what we can rule out. And I think that the whole zombie apocalypse thing that we were looking at, is that a red herring? Is the reason why that could be a red herring is because, well, for one, if it was a virus that's going to break out in the United States, and we already travel all around the world, and Deagle.com would know that this was a virus outbreak because everything is scripted, well, then wouldn't they be showing depopulation numbers for a lot of other countries that were going to be affected by some viral outbreak? That would be the case, right? But we're not seeing that with Deagle.com. We're seeing only some countries that are going to have very minute losses. But there's other countries like Germany. Has anybody seen Germany's loss? Let's take a look at the loss for Germany. 80 million people, right? Number 5, 80. That's the 2017. So let's switch the forecast to the futuristic projected forecast. Okay, and let's look at Germany again. Germany's only going to have 28 million. Holy shit. So there are plenty of countries that are going to be losing. And what's going on with Germany right now? What do we know about Germany? But let's focus for a moment on North Korea and the fact that the United States has been using Ukraine. If, you know, we could speculate all day long about what's going on with the script, but doesn't it appear that the United States, according to the script, is using Ukraine to fight against Russia in some kind of proxy war? Well, then Russia could really do a tit for tat move. And they know that North Korea would be just crazy enough if Russia provided them with the ICBM technology, that North Korea would actually use them against the United States. Essentially, Russia would be fighting a proxy war right back at the United States and using North Korea to do it. So could that possibly explain why North Korea doesn't have any population numbers whatsoever in the Deagle.com projected 2025 forecast? Okay, so what are we seeing about North Korea and Russia right now that would tell us that that is a very huge possibility? Business Insider and others, Russia may be responsible for North Korea's new ICBM, experts say. Russia Chinese delegates join North Korea at parade featuring ICBMs. So, is this all part of the script that Russia is going to be providing some kind of weapons to North Korea, ICBMs, or the technology? Then the North Korea is going to be firing some of these against the United States. Some of them may make their way in, devastating the United States, and the United States responds in kind and obliterates North Korea. Or could it be something along the lines of what does the depopulation numbers come from? As I stated, it doesn't appear to be viral. And some of the things to prove to me that everything is scripted to go a certain way. And we could take a look at the Illuminati playing cards. We could look at a lot of other things in movies. We saw in movies that they were showing us about 9/11 was going to happen way before 2001 happened because it was a script. Predictive programming? No, it's in the freaking script. So now we have to ask ourselves, is everything going on right now with North Korea and they're rattling their saber, is it all part of the script? But now that I just showed you Deagle.com's projection for Ukraine, And we're seeing some kind of conflict going on right there, and there's going to be huge losses for Ukraine, and probably is huge losses going on right now. What explains away the depopulation numbers for the United States? Is it North Korea ballistic missiles? Is it possibly that a country is going to spark off the supervolcano at Yellowstone? Those are two big possibilities. I am discounting the viral aspect of all this for the reasons that I stated before. It's quite simple to me that if you have a country that travels by plane in all kinds of different directions and all kinds of different locations, then we would be seeing these depopulation numbers, because if it's following a script, well, then they would be presenting that depopulation numbers in all of those other countries' forecast that would be affected by some kind of viral outbreak. And I'm not seeing that. Excuse me. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. But what explains away the big, huge depopulation for the country of Germany? You know, for a country that entered into a treaty, was it the Treaty of Versailles? What was it? About Germany, that they were not allowed, or not permitted, they were not permitted to rebuild up another army, or weren't they not supposed to be creating any kind of military weaponry at all, according to that treaty? But yet Germany has been making war material for quite some years now. Well, interestingly enough, Ukraine has a new weapon in its fight against Russia. 100 Cold War era German tanks designed by Porsche. And this was reported September 4th, 2023. So now we can look at this one of two ways. North Korea gets into a little skirmish with the United States, and we won't call it little, because it would probably be it would be total annihilation of North Korea. And of course, we would have a big shit show right here in the United States with a big, huge loss of life. So then what do you have? Who would then be going against Germany for everything that they're doing going on right now? Could it be Russia that hits Germany, especially when you have the United States completely dismantled due to attack by North Korea? Does this all sound far-fetched to everybody? I'm thinking in my mind all of the possibilities that we're seeing the evidence of. And do I believe Deagle.com has it right? Do I believe that they've known what the script is, and that's why those numbers have been in their projection for the year 2025? I do believe that. Do I believe that something major is coming right here in the next few weeks, this month? I do believe that. Do I believe it's going to affect the United States? I do believe that. I don't know what else to tell everybody other than, all I can say it is like this. Pre-9/11/2001, if there truly was people that were in the know, that were warned to stay away from the Twin Towers on that day, that means they had insider information. Folks, we don't have that luxury of insiders giving us information to run for the hills. But I'm not telling anybody to run for the hills. I'm telling everybody just to keep your eye out. And I know that everybody does. But here are some of the possibilities of what could be coming. Well, It doesn't hurt to be prepared. And I'm not fear-mongering. I'm not warmongering. And I'm surely not trying to put people in distress. All I'm trying to do is to make sure that everybody has their eyes opened and that you be prepared for the worst. If anything, think about this for a moment. Why do we prepare, or why do we stock money away for a rainy day? Why do we do that? Because you never know what the future holds, right? Of course. You have money saved because you never know when you're going to need it. When you are preparing a bug out bag, or you're preparing something to be ready for any kind of event that could happen, is it going to hurt you to have something prepared for yourself as a contingency plan in case something happens? No, it's not going to hurt you. And if nothing happens, then tell me, how have you gone wrong? Just like stocking away that money. And if nothing goes wrong, if nothing happens to your car and you don't need it, boy, it didn't hurt you, did it? That's all I got to say about this. I showed you the evidence. I'm showing you now that everything is a script. If the script holds true, well, then we know something is going to be happening against the United States. We have to analyze what that something is. And there's only so many options available to tell us what those things are. And we've already went over them here in this video. Thanks, everybody.